Good day and welcome to another episode of The Silence Speaks Volumes. We welcome back in studio Zulfa and Wahiba. Unfortunately, Margaret, who was with us last week, and Vosh is not available to join us again. But last week we were talking about the treatment and support, and a lot came out from that episode. And we're now going to have a look and address the things people don't really like talking about. And that is the depressions and the anxieties that we have. And it's not necessarily just the depression around, I've now been diagnosed with a potentially terminal illness or a debilitating illness, but it's also throughout this journey, as well as the anxieties. Zulfa, would you mind sharing some of your experiences with us?
Thank you. I was actually diagnosed with anxiety and depression before I got my diagnosis of fibromyalgia and rheumatoid arthritis. And it only worsened after my diagnosis with the fibromyalgia. What I found up to this point is that depression isn't something that people willingly speak about. It's like almost a taboo subject in a lot of communities, and people have this idea that just pull yourself together and get on with it. It's like telling someone with a broken leg, walk it off, it'll be fine. It's not as easy as that. And I don't think, none of us really go into this wanting to be that way, wanting to have to struggle with the depression and anxiety on a daily basis. And it's hard, and it's something that we actually need to speak about, especially with debilitating conditions. If you are diagnosed terminally ill, it's almost as if you know you are going to go eventually. We all know we're going to go, but your time frame has just been shortened, right? With debilitating, it's you still there, your mind is still there, but your body doesn't want to. And it's like you're trapped in your own body, and that in itself becomes so frustrating, it becomes so depressing that you are still the same person you were before you became ill. Your body's just not keeping up with the rest of you. And I think for me, that's where my depression stems from. It's my frustration with myself. In my mind, I'm still exactly the same person I was 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
29 years ago.
29 years ago. But my body is not keeping up with what my brain is telling me. And it becomes very sad for me sometimes, as if I'm trapped in my own body and I can't move forward physically. Some days I'm still as sharp as a pencil. And then other days there's this brain fog that...
And I think what makes it challenging for people on the outside, and to a degree I suppose in some instances with a family as well, is you look fine.
Yes.
You look fine. I mean, what's your problem? Just, as you said, get up and go. And interestingly, when Margaret was with us last week, when I spoke to her about coming back on here, she was keen for it. And then yesterday I get the call, I'm really not feeling it. I can't, I'm down, I'm floored. And for you, Wahiba, what has that journey been like also? I mean, you are cancer clear now, but I'm sure you must have had a bout of it before you when you were diagnosed, and after. Did a lot change?
Yeah, so before I was diagnosed, I was fairly fit, healthy, exercise, gym, and then you get diagnosed and then a lot of things change. So you can't do as much as what you did before because you go through treatment and chemo, and that all has long-term side effects on your body. So you're living your mind, like Zulfa said, your mind is working but your body isn't. So my mind is still the same, but my body is not. So I'm not the same person that I was 2.5, 3 years ago. Like, I just went back to work 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago. And I actually,
Sorry, how long were you at home for before?
I was at home for, I think, about 2.5 years
Wow.
on temporary disability. So my oncologist, he cleared me for work, and I went back. And for me, I'm still busy adjusting. It's a lot of adjusting on my side with regards to waking up and driving and sitting for 8 hours at work and then driving again, coming home to your son. So it's a lot of things that I need to do. Like, I can't do it. Sometimes I don't even get things done because my body just doesn't want to anymore. So I just made peace with it. So what I can do, I will do. What I can't do, I'm not going to push myself, because the pushing is just going to push you back further. It's not going to do anything positive in your life. So with me, before I had like running, that was my therapy. With my, I won't say I had depression. I never really had depression, but for me it was more the anxiety of the unknown. The fear of the unknown. So I had running, I had going to gym, that all stress relieving for me. But now I've been set back a bit with some other illnesses that I had, which I need to cope with. So gymming and running is totally off the cards for me right now. So what do I do now? So what? Like, I'm just trying to fit in.
For sure. Before we started filming and we were chatting off camera, and you were telling me about going back to work and the anxieties you felt about going back to work in terms of having to walk to your car. It's quite from your car to the office.
Yeah.
You spoke about your legs giving in on you on the second day. Would you mind sharing some of that with the viewers?
Yeah, so everything, I've been iron deficient for a while. I've been treated for that, but I still have the weakness in the legs. So for me, my car isn't parked close, like they will refer it to. That's the closest parking, but for me, it's still a bit far. So I need to walk from my car to my desk, to meeting rooms, to training. So it's a lot of walking involved. It's open plan, so there's nothing that you can hold on to. And like my friend, like she used to come fetch me at my car for the first week or so, and then I just decided, no, I need to do this. So stop fetching me, let me do this on my own. Like, even if I must take one step at a time and then just take a break and then continue, I need to do this, because you're not going to be here all the time. You're going to be late maybe, or absent, or on leave, and then what? Am I going to sit in my car the whole day?
Sure.
Like, am I going to sit there? So it's a lot of adjusting, and it's a lot of anxiety with regards to, are you going to faint? Are you going to collapse? Is your legs just not going to work? Your brain is working, but it's not in sync with the rest of your body, because it's not one foot in front of it's like that's like a normal body function, and it's not functioning like that. So like but as the days went, I became more comfortable with getting around and just taking it one day at a time and not stressing myself out for nothing, because that is unnecessary anxiety.
I think that's, you mentioned it here, it's things that's supposed to be normal.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes it difficult for an outsider to understand, but it's just walking.
Yeah.
It's just
But
walking.
we're just going up to the shops, we're not going to be that long.
Yeah.
I know for me, if I'm walking in a mall and the bag starts filling with air and you got this bulge, and I'm almost too afraid to walk into a shop where you think that security guard is going to see this bulge and they're going to think okay, you're
it's
smuggling
something.
something. And it's not something that, and I put this in inverted commas, a normal person would understand.
Yeah.
Your normal sort of changes.
Yeah.
And it's something that you need to make peace with and accept. And I don't know for you, Wahiba, but for me so I've accepted, okay, this is the new me. But unfortunately, the new me changes every day. I never know what to expect. And that's where my anxiety comes from. It's when I wake up in the morning, I don't know what it's going to be like when I put my foot down on the ground. you know, I don't know what the day is going to bring. Am I going to make it out of bed today? Am I not? Oh, is it going to be a really slow day, or are we going to be taking life on?
Yeah.
And I never know that until you actually get up and or
And-
try
and
to
get
get
up
up and
and
do
go.
it. And that's where my anxiety stems from. For example, we just started a business a few months ago, and we're doing really well. But the anxiety with, oh, I have a meeting with a supplier tomorrow. Oh,
Am I
so the night before already I start worrying, am I going to make it to that meeting? Luckily I work with my husband, so he's always filling in the gaps for me and, you know, taking the pressure off me
Yeah.
and so forth. But I'm a very stubborn person, so I want to do my own thing.
Yeah.
And that's where my frustration and anxiety comes in, because I want to do things myself. I still want to be the free-spirited and person I've always been, and unfortunately, and as much as I say I've made peace with the fact that this is the new me, that frustration does crop up,
It
and
does.
that's where the depression would set in, because I hold myself to a higher standard than I can actually perform at.
Maintain.
Yeah. So.
I think we're touching on quite a bit, and something I find crops up a lot in the speaking engagements that I've been to, and that's the fact that as much as people say anxiety is about worrying about the things you can't control, but when it becomes part of your life, where your life now is a bag filling up with air, or
Yeah.
a leak that's going to come, or I can't move today, it is difficult to remain positive. And I think we need to allow ourselves to feel that and not suppress the feeling.
True.
I'd like to pick that up again when we come back from a break, but right now we have some bills to pay. Please check back with us shortly. Welcome back to The Silence Speaks Volumes. In studio we have Wahiba and Zulfa. Before we went on break, we started touching on the fact that the anxieties we are feeling is usually the unknown. We don't know how we're going to feel tomorrow or later or next week for that matter. How do you manage, Zulfa? I think it affects you quite often in terms of what's the body
On
going
a
to do?
daily basis.
How do you manage the anxieties? Because you seem like a fairly positive person about what is happening.
I try and live my life very positively. There's a few things that I do that helps me with my anxiety. First and foremost, I count my blessings all the time. Sounds like the simplest thing to do, but when you so far down, it's hard to remember what your blessings are. And I forced myself to recognize them every single day, even the little things. And just, you know, celebrate that. Don't look on the negative side of things all the time. One of the ironic things about my illness is that because of the anxiety, I perchance found out that making fudge is a very therapeutic thing to do. You know, old style traditional fudge where you stand and stir the pot forever. I just happened to be making fudge one day, and I realized that this is so therapeutic, just standing, doing this mundane job of just stirring a pot. And I found it so therapeutic that I just kept on making fudge to the point where my kids were like, no more. So I decided to change things up a bit, and I decided to try something different and make American style fudge, chocolate-based fudge. And this became a form of therapy for me by making these sweets and trying new things. That in turn has turned into our family business right now, which is
very lekker fudge, by the way.
thank you. So it's, you know, I try and remember that something really positive came from from a very dark place I was in, and those are the things that I celebrate every day. It comes with its own amount of stresses and anxiety. But it's at least something that I am proud to put my name on. Like fudge was born from a dark place in me, and it's something I'm really proud of, and I work really hard at it. And, on those really dark days, I look at it and I'm like, but I did that.
And that helps you.
And that helps me feel better about myself and the situation that I find myself in. Unfortunately, I can't do all of the mixing, and because we've grown to the point where I can't keep up, my body won't keep up with the workload, so I've got people helping me now and doing the manual labor. But on the days where I really need to, guess what? I'm going to stand there and stir the pot. So that's how
awesome.
I deal with my anxiety. And then also speak about it. When I'm feeling really blue, when I'm feeling really down, and it seems like Eskom put the light off at the end of my tunnel, I know the people I can go to and speak to without being judged.
Yeah.
And that's important.
Yeah, that's very important.
They will let me vent, they will let me cry, let me have my moment, but they know that I'm the type of person who tomorrow is going to get up and say, oh, what was wrong with me yesterday? So it's very important to have those type of people.
So
For sure.
I think it's also important that we allow ourselves to have those moments. And Wahiba, I think you got a moment on right now.
I have a very big moment tomorrow. So tomorrow I'm going for my 3-monthly CT scan.
Sorry, for the viewers who aren't aware, this is related to the cancer.
Yeah,
Your
it's related
cancer's
to my
this-
colon cancer.
The cancer is no longer there, but you have to go for 3 monthly checkups.
3 monthly checkups, yes. So I am currently in remission. I go every 3rd month for bloods, every 6 months for a CT scan. So this is the 6th now. So tomorrow is a CT scan. There's a bit of anxiety because you never know. Like you don't know.
What if?
Like what if, like how's your tumor markers? Is it up? Is it down? What are they going to see? Like things like that. So it's a lot of anxiety. I'm sure you know.
No, I do.
You
You
know.
find yourself lying on that bed in the tunnel, and you've gone through. You come out and you look over to the radiologist.
And they're busy.
What do you
Like,
see there?
they
And
are
then they
so
whisper
busy.
to each other.
Yeah, you can't
then it's,
see what they're saying, but you can see
what is
their
it?
mouths
Yeah.
are moving. So that's a lot of anxiety for me. But like I say, like what keeps me going is like my husband always tells me, like, these people worse off than you. So what you're feeling now, what you're going through now, it's so much of what other people are experiencing. Like when you go to the hospital and you see these people in the cancer ward, you actually see how they look and you compare yourself to them. You need to be so blessed, so grateful for what you have. So your small blessings, you're waking up, you're breathing every day. That is what you need to just be. Like it needs to, you need to be grateful. That is your small blessing. So that is what keeps me going every day. Telling myself, these people worse off than you. What you're going through now will pass. So just keep on pushing.
I also take inspiration from people like Faisal and my late brother. My late brother was diagnosed with terminal cancer just weeks before I got my diagnosis. And just to have seen his journey and, walked that journey with him and the strength and that he showed. Same with Faisal when he called me up that day and said, I have to tell you something. Just the strength that I drew from them, how they handled, and both of them, well, in my brother's case it was terminal. Faisal's case, alhamdulillah, he's still here with us. But just to see them face the challenges every day. And I think for me it's like, so you have these challenges every single day. This is not terminal, it's debilitating for the most part, but I can still get up tomorrow morning and fight the good fight. And it's people like them that actually inspire me to always try and be the best me. Keep going.
Thank you for that. And if I can just add on to that, is some people have come up to me and they've said, how do you stay so positive? And the reality is, I'm not always that positive. I've come to believe that it's important to allow yourself to feel what it is you are feeling. And once you can understand why you're feeling that way, you are in a better situation to deal with it.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's a little earlier, I think the biggest advantage or the greatest gift you can give to someone that's going through depression or an anxiety or an anxious-filled moment is to allow them to speak, give them that opportunity to speak. And I think to those listening, my message would be, you don't always have to have the answer. Sometimes I just need to vent. That's it, and that's all that I need. I don't need you to say, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Sabar, my boy. No, that's not what I need in that moment. I need to vent without judgment. And that's the most important part.
For sure.
Yeah, so I also have those friends that I can go to and vent and, just let everything out. But my message would be like, you're not a robot. So feel your feelings, live in that moment. If you need to cry, cry, because it's going to make you feel better. And you get up and you try again, because tomorrow is going to be better. Yeah, that's what I.
For sure. I guess from my side, it's just never give up. As easy as it seems to just give up on things, don't give up. Dust yourself off, try again. My favorite saying, just dust yourself off and try again. Tomorrow could be better. There's always hope. So just always look on the bright side. Always try and look for the positive, look for the blessings in whatever situation you find yourself in.
And I think, in closing, I would say that the reality is that feels may last for a couple of days, and that's okay. That is okay. There is no formula. The same way Wahiba had a stoma, hers was temporary, mine is permanent. No two stomas are the same. They come from different points. No two fibromyalgia patients are the same. Zulfa's here today. Margaret couldn't make it because she's flawed. And speaking to her, she sounded horrible. And the same with the depressions and the anxieties. No two people are the same. And I think we need to, and as Zulfa said, speak about it a lot more. And it takes great courage. It's not a sign of weakness. It takes such a huge amount of courage to open up and speak about the things that are bringing you down. You have no idea how vulnerable it is you become. But from that vulnerability comes a hell of a lot of strength, a hell of a lot of growth. And as you said, you start to give yourself the tools to be able to see the little blessings. And sometimes it's huge blessings, and sometimes it's the smallest of things. But these are all there to help us come out of that dark space. If you need to find help, I'm not a big fan of Googling your medical diagnosis, but there is uses and good positive uses to Google. Whether it is looking for a cancer support group, there's organizations like Cancer. For depression, there's so many online organizations that you can reach out to. FAMSA, which is also there. Find help. And it's not always going to be the closest people to you, because unfortunately we have a tendency to try and fix things, and we don't always have the tools to fix it.
Absolutely.
Allow yourself to feel. It takes a hell of a lot of courage to put yourself in that vulnerable state, but you will come out stronger on the other end. Ladies, I thank you so much for sharing your experiences with us. The viewers out there, take heed in the fact that yes, things can get dark and gloomy, but there's always something that you can be thankful for. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.